I'd like to call this October 14th budget session to order. It's a public meeting that was advertised and is being televised. I thought last night when I made that announcement we would have more. The only person that said he couldn't make it was Mr. Pezza because he teaches on Tuesday night. So I don't think it's necessary tonight to get into figures. I don't think it's fair to this council, the four of us that are sitting here, to try to make a decision for the other four members that aren't here. And as far as the taxpayers of this town, I think that they're entitled to having a full council here and the mayor to discuss the police budget and the future of the borough when it comes to taxes for 2015. So I'm just going to throw out a couple ideas to the three of you that are here, and we could discuss. I'll just schedule a couple more budget meetings in the next week or two. So basically, the manager wanted this meeting called this evening for a couple reasons. One, there's deadlines that have to be met if we elect to make some decisions, and I guess us four are going to have to make this decision this evening. Last year's budget, as he said last night, was a deficit of $29,000, and I sat with Angie for a little bit tonight before we came in here, and I have my own projections, which I think are going to be more on a positive note for next year than on a negative note, which I don't want to do tonight. But I think that the decision has to be made. Dave, you brought up last year when you first got elected about an earned income tax or a local service tax or local service tax. And I had asked you several times during the year, do you have any information on it? Nothing's been brought up. We're now in October, but the manager has been following up on your request. The deadline to file for these things or to start the process for these is this week. I think we need to make a decision, right?
You have to have the advertisement in the local paper this Thursday at 2 o'clock at the latest. We have to have that notice to the newspaper Thursday at 2 o'clock. The council is considering, and I use the word considering, implementing either one or both of those taxes. And otherwise, you cannot implement those taxes for 2015.
So I think what we need to make a decision tonight, and I think that's all we should make a decision on, is do we want the manager, I know it was Dave's idea, so
Wait, can we be clear? Can I know what it is about? Or?
I agree, Lorraine, because I'm not. Just
I don't know
explain
what
to
it's
us.
about.
Do you know Dave?
When
And
Dave
can
got-
Dave describe it?
If I could clarify that, I gave that suggestion in November last year before when I was council-elect.
Right.
I wasn't sworn in January or anything. We were looking for, we had a pretty big tax increase of almost 7 mills last year, and I just suggested that it was a way to implement 2 mills, and maybe we wouldn't have to tax the taxpayers that much by doing this local service tax. Basically, we're already getting $10 for an occupation tax, and it raises working people. It hits people that are working in the borough but not living in the borough. It's another $42, and we already have an account of it because we have a $10 occupation tax, so it would raise that tax from $10 to $52, and it was projected to bring in $135,000, which would be almost 2 mills.
So Dave, that would
That's
just
only,
be people.
sorry.
No, I
I'm
honestly
sorry.
don't. No, it's okay. So that would just be people that work in the borough.
Yeah, it doesn't affect the nice thing about the local service tax, it affects working people. It doesn't anybody on a fixed income or retirees or fixed pensions. It doesn't affect them. It's just somebody who's already has a job and is working and maybe could afford another $42.
And I'm just asking for this, like a Steve Cullen that works at Allied Electronics in Bristol. Would he be taxed?
I'm not sure how it works, to be honest with you, Lorraine.
Okay,
Does anybody know how this works? Billy or Jim, can you explain it?
You have an outside independent firm that will do the collection of the tax, and it's for anyone that works in the town.
Not a borough resident?
Would be if they're working, if it's a
If they work in the borough, they live in the borough, they will be taxed, and they will be taxed how much?
It's a total of $52.
I think it's 42 more dollars.
$52. The $10 tax that's being charged now would go to the school district.
And that money, Jim, is a year, $52 a year?
Yes.
And
Okay.
how much would it bring to us, Jim? I want to hear it from you. Not that I don't trust you, but
The
your
figures that
numbers
we...
were a little shaky last night.
Well, I was thinking 10 years,
Okay,
you're right,
I know.
but, you know, it was 40,000, but 10 years is 400,000.
Mr. Gerard's pretty much on the money as to what we've
Give me the
been
figure again.
told. We're hearing $155,000 a year. Correct.
Mayor.
Let me ask you a question. This $10
I'm happy for you.
service tax.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
Right now, the $10 fee is collected through the school district by an outside agency. That agency would then work for the borough, and then we would reimburse the school district that $10.
We have to pay this outside agency?
They take percentage, I think it's 1.75.
Okay.
All right, let me ask you a question. Who sends the bill? Because this $10, I don't ever remember anybody that I know ever got a bill for $10.
Yeah, businesses, we don't get it. It's an occupational tax. It's a head
They
tax.
take it off your payroll, anybody that, the payroll, it's taken out of a person's payroll.
So how about like Dave or myself that are self-employed?
Now, your employees, you have a regular employee, you pay $10.
Yeah, but what if they're not working in Bristol every day?
That's why they're full-time employees.
So basically, anybody that's self-employed doesn't pay this tax. Unless they have employees, then you have to take it out and send it in out of your employee's payroll.
That's correct. It's charged by an outside agency. There's two, Berkheimer is one of them that does the collecting, and what's the other one?
Well, you never got a bill, did you, Dave, for $10?
Bill said,
Never did.
Dave said
I
yes,
mean,
so yes.
Dave, I'm
How come you've been
calling you.
paying it? Me too, I've been paying it.
No, but I'm saying, I mean,
He did.
so basically, whoever's working for a company that lives in Bristol would pay this $52 a year, or $54 a year. How about people that don't live in Bristol, would they be charged to work here?
Let's say like Angie.
Yes.
Exactly. Angie.
They would get charged.
But I mean, she'd be charged the $42 as well.
Yes.
They would get charged.
I like that idea, Angie.
Now, how about if they're paying this in their own town or borough?
Depends on where they work. If they work in the borough, that's where they go.
So you pay it where you work, not
Yes.
where you live.
How many, are any other boroughs doing it in the area?
Many.
Tell me who.
I don't have the list with
No,
me.
no,
I
but
have the list.
those that you know of, for sure. Holytown does it?
Middletown does it.
Angie, do you have the list?
Bristol Township does it. Borough Council, yeah.
All right, call the municipalities off that charge the local service tax. That's good.
There's Bensalem Township, Bristol Borough, Bristol Township, Ivyland Borough. I mean, it's all bucks. It looks, keep on going.
Yes.
Warminster, Buckingham, Chalfont, Doylestown Borough, Doylestown Township, New Britain Borough, New Britain Township, Plumstead Township, Warrington Township, Warwick Township, Newtown Borough, Newtown Township, Northampton Township, Upper Makefield Township.
You're talking about the LST.
Are you talking about just LST that gets charged $52?
Yes.
Oh, let's go back
sorry.
up. Sorry. Bensalem, Bristol, Ivyland, Upper South, Warminster, Chalfont, Doylestown Borough, Doylestown Township, New Britain Borough, New Britain Township, Plumstead Township, Warrington Township, Warwick Township, Newtown Borough, Newtown Township, Northampton Township, Langhorne Borough, Middletown Township, Pendle Borough, Salisbury Township, Knox-Mixon Township, Riegelsville, Springfield, Dublin, East Rock Hill Township, Hilltown, Percy Borough, Sellersville Borough, West Rock Hill Township.
You can stop. You really can stop. I just wanted to know in the immediate area. I mean, if you
Most
guys
of the
don't
majority of the municipalities are charging $52.
Okay, that's really what I wanted to know.
There's
Thank
just a
you.
handful that are charging $10,
Okay,
and that's including us.
okay. Jim, what do you think about the $155,000?
I think preliminarily, based on the figures that are before you, that you're going to have to, I would recommend that you authorize the advertising for the earned income tax and the local service tax. If you can eventually get your expenditures down so where you can just handle the local service tax, that would be the one that you implement. And if not, you may have to go with the earned income tax. Now, there may be, other cuts you can make in the budget. Again, we got the projections in today from our investment manager for the interest rates for this year. He is estimating, I believe it's 224?
224.
224, which is less than what we have in the budget for this year. But next year, we had 240 was our projection in revenue, but he feels it'll be about 297. So that's somewhat of an increase. But again, it's just his projection.
And that could change.
I mean, he gave us a projection of, I believe, 240 for this year, and we're not going to reach it. So,
Right.
I think you have to prudently advertise. Many municipalities have gone to the earned income tax. Most of them have the local service tax. And I think we need to meet and decide what you're going to do with the...
So if you advertise by this Thursday, we don't have to make a decision until when?
December 31st.
Okay, so we got time.
And explain to me
Go ahead,
again,
Mayor.
if you don't mind, just the earned income tax is what?
This might explain a little bit better. I have my account running for you.
I'll make copies and give it out to everybody.
The earned income tax is what you are taxed on your earnings. Every person, every borough resident?
Correct. You're a resident. If you're a resident that gets charged out of town the 1%, then that money, you would not pay it out of town, it would come to the borough.
Okay.
That's in addition to this?
Yes, there's two separate taxes.
And how much? I'm sorry. We're 52 altogether, though. No?
I don't know. No.
Oh, this is something else.
Two separate taxes.
Oh, what is this now?
An earned income tax.
Estimated revenue
Okay.
at 1%, 750,000.
And that's 1% of what,
Everybody makes.
okay.
Of which, in time, the school district can take 1/2 of that, so you'll be further cut.
Why would the
Just
school
remember,
district...
you're at maximum
That's a lot of
millage
money.
limitation in the
We know that.
general. Well, some people may not.
So,
Oh,
what
I'm
I'm
sorry.
saying
It's better to
is,
explain it
I
than not.
apologize.
instead of
No,
sitting here
that's
all,
okay. I appreciate it.
instead of sitting here all night, are we saying, the four of us are saying tonight, do you want the manager to advertise?
Absolutely.
And then we'll make a decision in November?
Yeah, you don't have to, if it's Thursday, the deadline. Yeah, there's a lot to discuss. It is a tax on working people. If we don't have to implement it, we did have a tax.
I just don't think it's a fair system if people like myself and you aren't paying it. I think there's got to be a way to say, if you're self-employed, you should be charging everybody that's self-employed. Why should, I don't know how we can not be getting billed, but yet people that are getting a paycheck every week gets charged $10.
Check that out first thing in the
Yeah,
morning.
I mean, I don't mind, I'm just saying, I mean, I
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
think it's fair.
if you think of it, and especially with the two of you, if you vote to put this in, they're going to say, well, what do you care?
Yeah.
They're not touching your money, you know?
All right, so we want to give Jim the authorized to advertise this ordinance by Thursday, and then we'll discuss it when we have budget meetings.
Do we all agree?
Yes, I
Okay.
agree.
I think the next budget meeting, Jim, you got to make sure we have 8 people sitting here picking, if not, then we're just going to have to move forward with it.
I think we're locked into Mondays and Tuesday nights if you don't mind. And, I think we should start going as soon as possible because
I have to tell you that if you should have a meeting next week, okay, early next week, I will not be able to make it, because I will have treatment at the end of this week. I just can't come next week. So it would have to work out somehow, and I don't want to make a big deal of it, but I'd like to be here.
Well, and the problem too is that Greg teaches on Tuesday nights, and I know he
So
wanted
you
to
go
be
every
here.
other week, Lorraine?
Yeah, and this is my week.
What's wrong with Thursdays?
And I can
Go
come the
along.
night I have a treatment, I can
can't
come.
make Wednesdays and Thursdays at the moment. That's part of the problem. But we
Who
can
can't?
meet with Angie,
I'm only kidding.
we can meet without her, be happy to meet without her, except there are 2 Thursdays that I have a problem with, I'll tell you.
All right, so Monday, the 20th isn't really good for you.
Because that is this
Right.
Monday, right?
All
I
right,
definitely...
The 27th, hopefully you'll be
I can be
feeling
here.
good.
I can be here on the 27th.
All right, let's do a meeting on Monday, the 27th at 7 o'clock.
And then we'll know that Greg can also be here, because he
And
doesn't
then-
teach.
You'll be getting a treatment that
You said
Thursday,
7 o'clock?
Yes.
7 o'clock. And then again, we meet the 3rd, 10th. I say we go 17, 24 if we have to. And at that point, I mean, there's
17. Wait, I'm not following you, I don't think.
November. That's all.
What are you talking about?
October 27th is not next Monday, the Monday after,
And that's good.
at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
And then we already meet the following Monday, which is the 3rd and the 10th. So we can't meet any of them Mondays.
Is there any way on, and this is going to sound stupid, but is there any way on that 3rd meeting that we could do public participation at the end? We can do our voting so I can leave
On what night, sister? In the 10th?
on the 3rd?
There's no vote on the 3rd.
No, I asked you, oh, there's no vote, but can we do I meant to say, can we do our working
Yeah,
and
whatever
then
you
do
want
the
to
public
do.
participation after, and then I can just leave?
Whatever you want to do. If you don't
Let's
feel
try,
good,
if we
there's...
could, let's try to do
I
that.
think you got a good enough excuse more
Oh,
than
I would like to
anybody.
be here, I'd like to live a normal life, you know, I want to be here.
We'll play it by ear that
All
night.
right.
All right, so we accomplished what the manager needed us here for. Anything else?
Beyond anything, that I think, let's get that on, let's let it go for another year. Maybe to make my case.
The manager's also requesting that we could make a motion tonight.
I'm requesting it.
That he's requesting that we make a motion tonight with Pendle Borough, Langhorne Manor, and the borough to join with Bristol, Langhorne Manor Borough, to join with Bristol Borough to request a redevelopment authority to join with said names, municipalities. Basically what he's saying is he feels that we're contiguous with the casino money and we're getting shut out, so he wants to join with these other boroughs and see if we could talk to an attorney that would take this case on for all of us and see if we can get included in the casino funding.
I think we're getting ripped off right now.
So if somebody wants to make that motion.
I'll make the motion. Just tell me what I have to say again. I'm sorry. I want to say it right. I'd like to make a motion to request Pendle Borough, Langhorne Manor Borough to join with Bristol Borough to request the redevelopment authority to join with said named municipalities and request a declaratory judgment stating said boroughs are eligible for casino funding as contiguous municipalities.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Gerard. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Anything else you want? You don't want to raise tonight, do you?
He's not going to answer.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll give you the motion to adjourn.
Second by Mr. Gerard.